Now maybe you wouldn't say it from seeing my apartment, but I'm a minimalist. It means I like to live in with just the necessary means and keep the amount of my possessions to a minimum. This is my apartment, which I rent here in Bulgaria. This is my balcony, and as you can see, it's all really nice, well furnitured, and the thing is that I don't feel like owning my furniture. That's why this apartment is fully equipped and came with everything. So the personal belongings here, you can see the souvenirs, they're all mine. The pictures are mine. But the chairs, the lamps, nothing is mine. See here we have the kitchen, my work area with a laptop. A little kitchen, coffee machine which is mine. Right there. But then we've had it. The TV is not mine. Yeah, the books are mine. The stereo is mine. But I like to keep it to a bare minimum. The reason is that I want to be able to move whenever I want. Because Bulgaria is my home, but who knows for how long. In the hallway I didn't really have a closet, so I made one myself. It looks pretty cool. It's not too fancy, the door doesn't really close, unless I make a magnet here. But it's cool and it's good enough. Here's some stuff for jewelry. I made this table myself as well. Here we have the bathroom, but there's nothing really there. So the bedroom, also nothing much here, just the bed, and then we have the closet, which I like to have stuff in order. So I put all my bills here, sheets, shirts, sweaters, you know, everything, the pants, the bags, everything is right here. And it's just convenient to have a big closet for yourself. It provides some, you know, comfort in that you're able to organize your stuff. Here we have a small little drawer that has the underwear all organized. Here we have the socks all paired up and matched. That's just how I like to live, guys. I'm not insane. Then we have for the winter and summer actually a lot of scarves. I'm a real scarf guy. Gloves, hats. You know, I like to keep it like this. It provides clarity of the mind. I've always thought when your room's clean, when your clothes organized, well ironed, that's one less thing to worry about, you know. And you can focus on other details in your life that you still need to develop. And you know, my work area is quite organized. A nice alcohol-free beer, and this is where I do everything. And I like having it like this. The benefit of living minimalistically is that you can move, you just pack up and go anytime you want. I can cancel the rent here with a 1 month notice. Here I have my suitcase and some other stuff, the big suitcase. So I just pack up my clothes, my shoes. Perhaps I'll need some more suitcases, but I have maybe 3 or 4 that I came with from Holland initially. I'll probably leave the books for the next guy to read if they want it, and then I'm just out. And that's the easy thing. And I would say that a guy in his 20s should live flexibly, not necessarily minimalistically, but in a way you should keep in mind that being minimalistically, living minimalistically can save you a lot of trouble down the road, because when, for example, you lose your job, you'd be able to go all over the world if you have the working permissions. And the whole world becomes your playground, and you can necessarily you can just move to wherever you want, to Poland, to the UK, to the US, provided that you find a job. And if you have some money saved up, you could even just go and find a job there. Depending on the field you're in, there might be a lot of demand for you, or not so much. Depends who you are. What else? You know, the stuff that you own ends up owning you. And that's been mentioned in the movie Fight Club, and it rings very true to me. Because how many people do you know who have a very nice car? Or a very nice bike, even? And when they park it, when they store it somewhere, they always look, ooh, do I have a scratch? Do I have a little bump here? Is it not being stolen? Should I place a camera in the garage or in the parking lot? What if someone smashes the window for the airbags or just takes my bike from the city center? And that means that the item already owns them because it it has their full attention. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that because people take pride in all sorts of different things. Some people take pride in possession and they've worked for this, they've earned the money and spend it on the item that they now care for, which is completely fine. It's just not how I am programmed, or yeah, I've been deprogrammed from this because I want to be flexible. If I would have a car, which I don't, uh, it would be a car that I wouldn't mind being damaged, or if someone smashes the door into mine, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't. Uh, yeah, it would probably suck, but what do you do? It happens. It's a car. It's an item of usage and not status for me, as is the case with other people. Besides, I don't own a car because I like to rent one. Not owning something means you don't have to worry about it. Renting is using it, not having to clean it. Don't leave it really dirty either, but it's not yours. You don't have to care about anything more than taking basic care of the car that you're borrowing. I mean, should you have some damage, yes, that's very unfortunate, but you can just pay a little extra or it's already covered in the insurance and you don't have to worry, oh, is it worth less now? That's none of your concern because you don't own the car and it doesn't own you. Perhaps the same with the apartment. Who knows what happens? Is there water flooding in your apartment? Are your neighbors very noisy? Are your neighbors uh, shady people? You never know. Will there be a very big um, place where rubbish is dumped next to your house? You never know what will happen. Will the view be ruined someday by another building right across? There's things that influence the things you own as well, external factors. And one benefit of renting is that you can pack up and go. One big downside is that you're very much influenced by what the market does. Does it stagnate? Does it improve a lot? Do the prices go up? Do the inflation? Does the inflation go up? It would mean that perhaps your rent is doubled in just a few years. It would be very unfortunate for you because you spend a lot of salary on a place that you're not going to own. On the other hand, there's a lot of people saying that renting is throwing away money. I wouldn't say that's true, perhaps only if you rent an outrageously expensive apartment, as is the case in my country, where you rent for maybe €1,000 and you still don't have anything very special, not even as nice as my apartment, which I rent for €300 in Bulgaria. So yeah, I would say €1,200, which is very common for an apartment in the Netherlands, is throwing away your money a bit, especially if you can pay half of that on the mortgage and own the place later. A tricky situation. But renting is not necessarily throwing away money, because what do you get in return? You have a roof above your head, a safe place to stay, which you uh, borrow from the owner. And I mean, going in a hotel and spending the night there is not a waste of money, is it? I mean, you get a roof above your head, you get a bed, you get a shower, and some other facilities the more you pay. Is that throwing away money? I don't think so. Me paying €300 for this place means I spend €10 a day on having a very comfortable and very nice place to live. I think that's a very fair deal, and I would be willing to pay it for the rest of my life. Doesn't mean I'm going to stay here, but paying 10 euros to have a place is, well, it's a fair deal. I would then say maybe throwing money away is buying a place because you're going to pay a lot of extra cost, so much extra responsibility, the taxes, uh, just the worry which gives you a bit of the stress hormone cortisol. Oh, are they going to put a bathroom in well? Are they going to install the kitchen well? Should I be there all day to look what they're doing? Am I annoying them? Are the builders hurrying? What's the quality that's going to be delivered? Ooh, the furniture will be of a good quality. Uh, what if they damage the walls when bringing in the bed? All of this extra stuff is not something that I want to bother myself with because I'm kind of alone in this world. I live alone and I live away from my family. I don't have a partner, so uh, I want to keep my life relatively stress free because life is already pretty difficult and I am willing to pay up to 30% of my income for an apartment. I would say 50 is too much. Over 50 is outrageous, like a lot of people in the Netherlands do. Um, so I prefer it like this. On a fair note, there are social houses and apartments in the Netherlands, but you'd need to be on a waiting list for some 15 years for this. And you, depending on your eligibility, they look at your income, of course. And a social place to live, as the name says, is not very social for people who make a lot of money because the Netherlands taxes you more when you make more money. I'm not to say if that's fair or not, but in my case, I would be making a fair amount of money in my country, which means I would not be eligible for a social place to live, which means I would either need to buy something. But that's very expensive. You don't get that a lot of quality in return. And renting is outrageously expensive as well. So why not look somewhere else like Bulgaria if you can find a fair job with a Western wage, which is very important. Otherwise, you'd be having a poor standard. So that's some thoughts I wanted to share with you today. Being a minimalist gives you a lot of peace of mind, which is, for me, one of the goals in my life. Reducing stress, not that I have a lot already, but having calm and peace of mind and designing my days as I wish. That's something that I strive after. So wish you a good rest of the day and all the best from Bulgaria. Bye bye.